Welcome to Dr. G's garden, Grenada. In this garden, I am involved in a number of different concepts. I try to be aware of all the plants that are around, even the weeds, and then I do different type of agricultural practices. And these I will demonstrate to you. I consider myself a climate smart agriculturalist. I'm a natural farmer. I'm also very interested in biodiversity and maintaining the ecosystem. So it is kind of emotional for me even to clean, because I wouldn't cut a weed if I can't identify it. I like to know that I know the name of it even before I clean it. So everything, almost everything around here, I try to learn the name. Okay?
Is there any particular reason why you got into this type of farm?
Well, my background. I have a BSc in botany and chemistry. I have a master's in chemistry, and my PhD is in pharmacognosy. My father was a farmer. My grandmother was a herbalist. She was a midwife. She delivered children. So I always liked plants. I was always in the farming, yes, you know. So I always wanted to find out more and more about plants, you know. And the details too, is not, you know, what they are, why they are the way they are. I always wanted to find out why they are, what things are, you know, yes. Like things fascinated me, like what causes color. Here is what my garden is about.
I am for R&R. You are at G's place for R&R, relaxation and revitalization, recreation and restoration, rejuvenation and resilience, road to river. Are you ready to be re-educated? So tell us about this.
Yeah. Well, basically, I'm also interested in sort of phytochemotherapy. I feel that plants could be healing in a way, you know, either to the farmer or to the visitors, you know, stress controlling and things like that, you know. So this is the whole concept. When you come here, you have to be prepared to learn. Also, I gave a challenge. If you do not learn anything new, I would pay you. If you don't learn anything new, I would pay you. But I think you have learned a lot of new things already. So I know the cash is always stacked towards me because I do here, yes, okay? So that is basically the concept. So are you ready to be re-educated, to learn new things? I like people to look and see. Open your eyes and look at things differently. A lot of times we look, but you know, we see the things, but we never kind of interpret them, you know, and get their full meaning. So that is what I hope I could encourage, you know, because for example, you know, like I leave in here, I wouldn't clean because it's dry season. You see it look nice, yes, because I leave ground cover in the dry season, so it doesn't get clean and dry, you know, yes. Here I have some very significant herbs. This one is the ladies' herbs. St.John's bush. It's St. John's bush. It helps people with menstrual problems. Actually, when you boil it, it gives a red liquid. Yeah, and it's helpful. Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, it didn't help me, but it helped I used to have sheep and goat and thing. And if the sheep would give birth, and after birth, I would blend this, boil it, put it in a bottle with a nipple and give the sheep. So it goes way back, you know? It goes way back. This, as you see, I'll show you some others. But this is called garden balsam. Makes a beautiful tea, but it's very useful in skin creams and things like that, for removing rashes and things like that. Yeah. Well, of course, the black sage, which is a coolant. So I do regular agriculture. I have a very beautiful Kajan is a scientific name for peas. Nice name, eh? Kajan is pigeon peas. Yes. And I have a beautiful pea. It's a 9-pod. Yeah. It's prolific. It bears well. Okay. So like all the weeds and things I know, but you wouldn't worry that. No. I would like to mention this one because I want to warn people about its use. Sugar dish, known as Lantana camara. I would like to advise the public that maybe they should be very restricted in its use. People have used it to make a lot of tea and things, but it has in some substances called lantadines. Lantadine A, B, C, and D. When you drink the tea, the lantadines migrate to your skin, and when the sun shines, it causes you to itch. Could you imagine in Australia, they had herds of cattle itching, cattle rolling. Yeah, so it actually has problems. Yeah, and I actually had the experience here because there was a young gentleman who was passing with it, and we started talking, and he told me that he'd been drinking this, but he'd been going to the doctor for a number of problems. He'd been itching. They try all kind of things. So I smiled and I tell him, stop drinking that. This is actually in textbook, or it make textbook too, pharmacology textbook. Yeah. So I kind of advise people here. Even simple things like this. This is known as emilia. Okay? Beautiful flower, a weed, most people cut it down. But the bees visit this to get pollen. Not for nectar, but for pollen. Okay? Here I have examples of the different basils. This is our local pitibum, Ocimum campesianum. This is Pullman poke, Ocimum gratissimum. This is a regular basil, Ocimum basilicum. And then this one down there is Thai basil. Now I have about 4 different. This is a large big time. It's a totally different. It's the big time, big time. Okay. All right. So I do the and this one, very important, sacred basil, very good for stress. And the name is actually Ocimum sanctum. Yeah? Very good for stress. Yeah. This is the Borcano here. Yeah. But this is a cutlet I told you, so that's the scientific name. The cutlet that make, that's the emetic. Okay? So Citrorexulum spinosum. Yeah. And the good thing about me is that I know these names, so I don't have to go to anybody to get them, And please note, things might have common names, but the common names could vary from village to village, from country to country. For example, orange is Citrus sinensis, that is a sweet orange. But for example, in Grenada, we speak about golden apple. In Trinidad is pomsite. In Jamaica is June plum. If you say golden apple, nobody knows what you talk about. Okay, so that's, but the scientific name would be the same in Latin, Spondia citera. Whether you're in Germany, whether you're in Japan, Spondia citera is a scientific name. So when you Google that, that is the name of the plant. So we're talking about the same thing. Okay? As simple as this look, this is called a milkweed. But like every plant has its function. This is the best plant for sweeping out oven ovens. The leaves do not come off. Most of the plants, when you put them in heat, the leaves are dry and fall off. This one, the leaves stay, so you don't have to do 2 sweeping. Yeah, as simple as that. You don't have to do 2 sweeping. A lot of people are familiar. This is Ven or Vervine. There was somebody who was saying that one of these is good for the COVID. And let me show you this Ven, which is a little treasure. This is a Ven with the red flower. Most people know the one with the purple. This is the one with the red flower. Okay, so that's why I tell you there are different species and different varieties. And then the big time, there's the variegated one there. And then there's a regular big time. Apart from using it in seasoning and things like that, the big time is good for tea. But in India now, they're using it in skin creams and lotions and things like that. You could also eat it direct in your salad. You could eat it direct in your salad. Now, this is the type of gardening I do. Intensive gardening, which is a mix. It's a total, that's my creation. So I've invented intensive gardening, which is a complex mix of a number of things. Scientific name for papa, carica papaya. Also known as the Panadol plant. Yeah. It helps with pain and things like that. You could use it for seasoning, but you could put it in alcohol and use it as an analgesic. It helps with pain, okay? So you see, guava has a nice name, Pisidium guajava. And that's what guava got its name from, because guava had plenty guava. That is how guava ended up being. So the scientific name for guava is, yeah. So I have a little herb garden here too, like for exams. So this is Santa Maria, which makes a beautiful tea for cold, fever, cough, or just a refreshing tea on mornings. This is love leaf. Leaf of life. Remember the one you write your name? You ever heard the story?
Yep.
But it would always grow. It doesn't matter if the person loves you or not, it would always grow because it's adventitious roots here. Properties, it is very good for healing wounds and for cooling. The juice is very good like for healing wounds. And also for ripening boils. This is kakabeke. Yeah. Which is used for bathing, for heats and things like that. Sene bicapsularis. And this is the powerful one, Kojo root or gully root, Petiveria alicia. Yeah, this is one that they say has potential for helping men with prostate problem. They're actually doing some work in Jamaica for alleviating prostate cancer and things like that, It is also considered a very spiritual plant. The Baptist and the Shango people, it's a powerful plant. The root is very smelly. Once you have it in your vehicle, you can't miss it. And even in the French islands, like in Martinique and Guadeloupe, the people plant it in front of their house. So we are protected from spirits. So you see, there are certain things that came across from Africa too. The high spirituality of certain plants, because you cannot abstract that. That is part of the use too. Our society has these cultural, bindings, the way we think, the way we feel, So you can't extract it. So this is wee herbs. This you see as a flower plant. This is edible, You could use it in your salads. It has a nice taste like tamarind, yes. You can actually, yes, and a nice taste. Yeah. Oxalis. Man better man. Christmas bush. St. John's bush again. This is, I had, wall cresses. You could also use this as in salad directly. You could eat this here. But it makes beautiful tea for children. It has in something they call apiol, which is nice kind of cooling and refreshing for children. The wall cresses, yeah. So here's I do little collections. So I have them here and then in different parts of the garden I might have them. Well, this one here, is seed on the leaf, when I'm a fei, the patwa, yes. And then this one is dai, the one that sticks on you. This one, dai. Yeah, dai for prostate, yeah, and kidney type problems. Yeah. And do you know it's from dai and Desmodium codevelo that the idea for Velcro came up? Haikikima, dashin, edodes, white turmeric, arrowroot, galangal, cassava, sweet potato, yams, tanya.
You have all of this on
Yeah, all of them there. Okay. But I have here and I have them planted in the area. But the concept is that there should be food on the ground. If something happened, we could find food. And I feel every farmer should maybe have, that thing. And I don't like the term like backyard gardening. Essential gardening. You plant the things that are crucial, that are essential. So I encourage the term essential gardening. This is turmeric. Yeah, yeah, but there's a. Have you ever seen topitambo? You know that topitambo? I didn't come. Okay, right. Okay, beautiful. This is a calathea. It makes a little potato, which you cook, and it tastes like garlic potato. But it has a very beautiful starch, which is a prebiotic, not a probiotic. The starch in here is an oligosaccharide, and it's a prebiotic. It feeds the organisms in your gut. So that is topitambo. But you see, this is dry season, so it has dried down. So I know it is topitambo, turmeric, the ginger, everything has dried down now. You know, very, very, very nice. You boil it just like how you boil it, and then you just peel off the skin, and it's nice and chewy. I always go for kind of exotics, you know, what people don't have. Yeah, that's nice. That is like the purple callaloo. In the sun, it is purple. Similarly with the tulsi too. If the tulsi is growing in the shade, it will be green. That callaloo there too, if it's growing in the shade, it will be green. They call it the golden, yeah. And then you have a backdrop of black sage, orange, wax apple, avocado. On that tree, I have treff. People call it creff, the one that makes the caterpillar, the worms, and the men put it in rum and thing, and yeah, it's going up on that tree. So that's basically is my concept. You know, I do this utensil gardening where I combine things, and I try to use it for education and to feed myself. And when I come here, I think I'll come to my laboratory. So I could do my work, yes. I could experiment, yeah, yes, and do different things at different times.
Tell us about your desire to pass on the knowledge to
Yeah, yes, I would like to have maybe young, old people who are interested in all aspects of agriculture and even in botany and chemistry, and particularly knowledgeable about spices. You know, if you want to learn about spices, I would like to encourage entrepreneurship, you know, yeah, showing people how to think about the things differently. So all these things, I would like maybe to have students. I would like maybe to have maybe people working along with me who are interested in learning, because I'm no longer young. And I'd like to maybe pass on some of that information. I may trigger off some new minds. You know, people might start looking at things differently or developing things, you know, their way. And that is what I would hope for. Maybe if I could get maybe two Imani who are interested to work along, you know, and then, you know, they could, you know, drain me of all my knowledge, but I know it would be sequestered somewhere beneficial. Okay. And you could come from different backgrounds. You could come from agriculture. You could come from business, you know. You could come from horticulture. Yeah, your background. You could come from nutrition background. Because if you want to start seasoning and flavorings, yeah, we could do that alone. It depends on, you know, what is your interest, and we could develop it. Okay, so that is what I would really like, you know. And even well, people like you too, writers, yeah, people who wants to promote the agriculture and promote the sciences, you know, in different ways and things like that, you know. So that would be my, that really is part of my dream.
So if persons are interested in learning from you,
They can contact me, yes. They can contact. Yes, 440-2758. They can call me, yeah. And my email address would be guidom110@gmail.com. So guidom110@gmail.com, yeah.